Okay, so like you just got that positive pregnancy test. Congrats. Is UGE, right? But I mean, let's be real for a sec. It can also feel like, whoa, where's the manual for all of this?
Right. So many things to figure out.
Seriously. But don't worry, that's what we're here for. Today, we're going deep on one of those first big steps, finding the perfect OB, your OB.
It makes a huge difference having the right person in your corner for this whole journey.
Absolutely. And there's actually something you can start doing like right this second, even before those appointments, to give your little one the best start. You know how important folic acid is,
Yeah,
right?
right. It's really crucial, especially those first 12 weeks. Helps prevent those neural tube defects like spina bifida.
Exactly. And the best part,
You can just grab 5 milligram folic acid tablets at any pharmacy. No prescription needed.
so smart. Now, this is where it got super interesting to me. The article we're looking at today, it mentioned that not all folic acid is like created equal. Some types are absorbed better than others.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. Definitely worth chatting with your doctor about. They can point you to the right prenatal vitamins with the best kind of folic acid for you.
Good to know. So folic acid, check. Next up, the biggies, diet and exercise.
Oh,
I remember when I was pregnant, I had a zillion questions about what I could eat.
totally normal to feel that way. The article we're looking at recommends avoiding raw foods and also unprocessed dairy.
Really? So, like, sushi is out.
Yeah, for now. It's all about minimizing risks, things like listeria, bacteria that can be harmful during pregnancy.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Okay, but what about staying active? Everyone always says exercise is important, even when you're pregnant. Are there certain workouts that are like a no-go?
There are some things to keep in mind. The article specifically said to avoid anything where you're flat on your back after the first trimester, cuts off blood flow apparently,
Oh, okay.
and anything with a high risk of falling, like horseback riding, skiing, those kinds of activities.
So no more crazy intense HIIT classes for me.
Maybe modify the routine a bit. Pregnancy can really change your balance, even if you're used to being super active.
True.
Swimming and brisk walking, though, those are great throughout.
Good to know. Okay, now let's talk choosing your OB. That can feel so overwhelming. Just so many options.
It really can. A lot of people start by asking friends, family, who they saw. But gotta remember, what works for them might not be the right fit for you. This is your journey. You have to feel comfortable.
Totally. And I know some people are all about the big hospitals, those restructured ones, while others prefer a private clinic feel.
That's a huge factor, and the article talked about that, the difference between those settings. So, restructured hospitals, basically public hospitals that have gotten a revamp to be more specialized, they have some big perks.
Like what?
Well, usually they've got tons of different specialists available 24/7.
Makes you feel more secure, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if there are any worries about complications.
Exactly. And some folks think restructured means less personal, but lots of them let you choose your specific OB.
Oh, so you still get that one-on-one relationship.
Yep. Now, private hospitals, they often have shorter wait times and maybe a more, I don't know, luxe experience, but that can come with a higher price tag.
Especially if any unexpected stuff comes up.
Definitely. Weighing those pros and cons is super important. Your priorities, your insurance, your budget, all of that comes into play. No right or wrong answer, but making an informed decision is key.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's say we've done some research, narrowed down our choices. We're ready to start actually meeting these doctors. What should we be thinking about during those first appointments?
This is where it gets cool. Think of them as interviews, like you're interviewing them to be on your team. You're not just there to be checked up on.
I love that. So what kind of questions should we be asking?
Welcome back. We were just talking about those initial OB appointments, thinking of them like interviews.
Yeah, it's not just about asking the right questions, but like
Yes.
really paying attention to how they make you feel. But okay, let's get specific. What questions should we be asking in these interviews?
I'm so glad you asked. One of the first things I always recommend is asking about their approach to childbirth. Are they supportive of natural birth? What are their thoughts on pain management? Things like that.
Makes sense. Because like every woman is going to have different preferences and priorities when it comes to labor and delivery, right?
Totally. Finding a doctor whose philosophy matches yours is huge. And speaking of matching, don't forget to ask about availability. How often will you see them during your pregnancy? Who covers when they're not around?
Oh, that's smart. Stuff like that can make such a difference, especially when you're getting close to your due date.
You're so right. And honestly, don't be shy about their policies on things like birth partners, labor support, postpartum care. That whole picture matters.
So true. Feeling informed and supported every step of the way. Okay, I know this can feel a little awkward, but what about the financial stuff?
Gotta talk about it. Seriously, don't be afraid to discuss fees up front, what insurance covers, potential out-of-pocket costs, all that.
Transparency is so important, especially with healthcare.
Couldn't agree more. And here's something I find super valuable too. Use these appointments to bring up any concerns or anxieties you have, like anything that's weighing on you.
Even if it's just like general first-time parent jitters.
Absolutely. A good OB will listen to all of it. They'll address your worries, provide information to help put your mind at ease.
It's all about that relationship built on trust and open communication.
Exactly. Now, let's fast forward a bit. You've chosen your OB, prenatal care has begun. How do you keep advocating for yourself, for your baby throughout the whole pregnancy?
I think education is so key. The more you know about pregnancy, childbirth, postpartum, the more confident you'll feel making those decisions.
Couldn't agree more. Read all the books, attend those classes, join those online forums, connect with other expectant moms.
Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health, your baby's health.
Amen to that. And remember, you are allowed to ask questions. If something your doctor says doesn't quite click, or you're curious about a procedure or test, speak up.
No such thing as a silly question when it comes to this stuff.
Seriously. And if there's ever any doubt about a diagnosis, a treatment plan, whatever, you always have the right to a second opinion.
It's your body, your baby, your choice. Now, before we wrap up this section, there's something really important I want to emphasize. We've talked so much about the medical stuff, the logistics of finding an OB, but there's this other piece we haven't really touched on yet.
Yeah, the emotional side of it all.
Exactly. Pregnancy can be such a roller coaster emotionally, and those feelings, they're just as important to deal with as any, physical symptoms.
Absolutely. It's huge. I mean, your body's changing, hormones are going crazy. It's totally normal to feel all kinds of things.
For sure. So to all our listeners out there who might be feeling a little overwhelmed by that emotional side, what advice would you give them?
First of all, be kind to yourself. Don't get caught up comparing your experience to others or judging how you feel. Everyone's journey is different.
So true. Comparison really can steal your joy, can't it?
It really can. And don't try to bottle everything up, you know? Talk to your partner, your family, your friends. Let them know what's going on in your head and your heart.
It's all about having that support system, people you can lean on when you need to vent or cry or even just celebrate.
Exactly. And, if you're really struggling, don't hesitate to reach out to a professional. Therapists, counselors who specialize in perinatal mental health, they can be amazing.
There is absolutely zero shame in asking for help. In fact, I think it shows strength, that self-awareness.
I agree. Taking care of your mental and emotional well-being is just as important as the physical stuff, especially during pregnancy. It can make such a difference in your whole experience.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive on choosing your OB, I want to leave everyone with one final thought.
I'm listening.
We covered a lot today, from that early folic acid to those interview questions, right?
We talked about different hospital settings, what to ask, how to advocate for what you need.
But the biggest thing to remember, I think, is this. Trust your gut.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Choosing your OB, it's so personal. You got to feel good about the person who's going to be with you through all of this.
So listen to that inner voice, do your research, find a doctor who shares your values, respects your choices, and makes you feel confident.
Pregnancy is such a transformative time. You deserve to feel supported, informed, and excited throughout the whole thing.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it helpful.
And if you have any questions or you want to share your own experiences, leave us a comment below. We love hearing from you.
And don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more deep dives into all sorts of interesting topics. Until next time, take care.